All right, folks, I need to start this video out with a confession. In my quest to make a better video, I've had to use deception and I've had to steal, and I feel kind of bad about it, but I think it's going to be worth it. Basically, what happened is when my wife wasn't looking, I stole one of these from the cabinet. Now, granted, I chose one of the beat up ones so that she wouldn't get too mad. But if you happen to see my wife, let's not talk about the fact that I stole one of her Tupperware lids or Pyrex lids. But I think this is going to be very helpful to talk about spin and acceleration. And we're going to have a little fun and talk about it right after the intro. Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a while, because what happens when I come home for lunch? I work and live next door to where I work, so a lot of times I can run home. I grab leftovers, pop the top off, go to heat the leftovers, but then I've got the top, and the way our kitchen is set up, the sink's across the kitchen. So as a good disc golfer, what do? I try to make it into the sink with the lid. And the key to having good control over the lid is to make sure I impart good spin and good pop to get it to do what I think it should. If I'm just kind of lazy and just kind of arm it, it acts like a wounded butterfly or a one-winged dove. And so it reinforces the idea that I've got to make sure that I give it good spin and good pop. Now, most of the time, these lids tend to be a little overstable. Whenever you're throwing on the left side of your body, the disc wants to fade to the left. If you're throwing on the right side of your body, it's wanting to fade to the right. This guy, because I did steal one of her janky ones, I think this is kind of like your beat up disc, like my beat up birdie that's hit a lot of trees. This one's not fighting back quite as much, and it's probably because it's missing sections, got a hole and stuff like that. But generally, your Tupperware discs, Tupperware lids tend to be a little more overstable. Just like if you were to throw a beer coaster, it's going to spin this way. A quarter is going to spin this way if you throw backhand. But what it's going to do, and homework for you, go grab a couple of these out of your drawer. And if you're a disc golfer, your spouse is probably used to you doing weird things anyway. And just see about how much you can control it with more spin than less spin. That's kind of the principle I want to help ingrain today, is that you want to make sure that you're imparting good spin. Okay? And why does this matter? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's grab some discs. I thought this idea was going to be solid gold, and it just turned out to be okay. But hopefully you appreciate it and you understand what I'm talking about. You want to do more spin to get this thing to fly right. Woo! Okay, so why does this matter? Well, I touched on it on my video about the Glitch World Championships, getting ready for it. The whole idea of making sure, especially with the glitch or whatever, that you're imparting spin into the disc so that it'll float and fly right. And this applies to everything. This goes back to my whole idea of acceleration versus deceleration. What happens a lot of times, especially as we get closer, we tend to start to try to, what I call, steer the disc instead of throwing the disc. And so we get up, and if I've got to go here, I tend to do, something like that. And I'm just kind of arming it up to the basket. Where what you want to do is you want to impart spin. You want to almost air bounce it. Think Simon Lizotte. You want to be able to, first of all, hopefully hit the basket. Let's try that again. Well, I'm pushing to the left. One more try. You're wanting to accelerate through, even if it's not that far. Now, granted, this is illustration stuff. But so often what happens when we get closer, we actually slow down our throw. We decelerate. We try to steer or control the disc versus trying to spin the disc to get it to fly how we think it should. And that's where that lid comes into play. Think of these like that lid. If I'm trying to throw that lid across the room to the sink, I've got to spin it. Well, if I'm trying to throw, no matter what shot I'm trying to throw, I want to impart as much spin as I can, because the disc will fly more stable in the sense of it will fly more correctly, not necessarily stable, overstable, neutral, etc. It's going to fly how we think it should fly, because that spin is what's holding it on the line that it should be on. Does that make sense? So whenever we're out there, think about the lid that we need to spin that disc to get it to fly better. Let's try this one more time. All right, here's a better example from here. We're going to the blue basket right there. And if I get up here and do my regular thing, I'm not thinking whatever, I may try to just toss it up there. Now, the good part of that is I'm following through, and the follow through will help generate some spin and keep it on line a little bit better. But what I need to be thinking about doing is really spinning the disc as I come through. I'm really popping the disc, and you see how it's holding that line a little bit better. Same thing on the forehand. This is where a lot of people get in trouble is, for instance, I like to flick putt, in case you didn't know. But when I need to regulate my speed, I don't just soften the throw. I may soften the power, but I increase the spin to make sure that it will fly and plop. So if I'm gonna go here, watch, I'm not gonna do a little soft arm like this. I'm gonna try to really pop it so that it goes and just sits. Did you see that? I'm really trying to pop the disc. My hand is actually accelerating faster through the disc because I'm really trying to generate that spin so that it'll fly the way I think it should. So often when we're doing approaches and stuff like this, we saw it off. It goes too early and it plops or whatever because we're not driving through. Once again, we always want to be accelerating through. We need to be thinking about really cracking the whip when we're throwing it. Not to get the power and the distance, but to get the spin and the flight. So even though I'm not doing super power trying to launch, I'm actually still trying to take that energy and put it into the spin so that it's going up, it's spinning as fast as it can and landing with that stability to it. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, I promise you, go grab some Tupperware lids and just go try to work on controlling those across the living room. It'll start to see that you've got to give it more spin to get that thing to operate how you think it should. Because let's face it, each one of these discs may operate and fly a little bit differently, but we're wanting it to fly how we think it should. And the only way it's going to fly like it should is if it's been given the right input. And a lot of times the right input is the right amount of spin. Does that make sense? That's really all I have for today. It's a simple tip, but it makes such a difference, especially on your approaches and even your putting when you want to run it, but not go too far by. You can put it a little nose up, put a lot of spin on it so it goes to the basket, and if it misses the basket, it just plops near the basket. So spin is your friend. Accelerate, 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 but also control it with the spin. There you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you that aha moment of I've been not inputting enough spin into my disc and I need to go out to the field and practice it. It's going to take practice to get used to this, but if you can remember it, man, you're going to get so much more dangerous around the basket and approaching the basket. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, please make sure to like and subscribe. Check out my Patreon channel if you want. Just trying to help you out, and that would help me out. I appreciate you coming along with me, and I hope to see you out on the course. Here I'm doing just a quick practice with the 5 to show you how working on grooving that shot in. I'm trying to run to the basket, but not blow by it. And I'm using the nose up, but the spin to regulate it to go out and then just drop. Up, drop right by the basket. Notice I'm really popping that arm. Oh, just tickled the chains. Up, at the bottom of the basket. You see how I'm really trying to snap it in there. That one a little bit long, but still gave it a chain high run. And there you go. All those are within, hopefully, an easy putt at the end there. I gave it a run, but I didn't blow by it because I added more spin to control the flight. There you go, guys. Hope that helps.